with day 32, what I don't really, I just I like how we're going through the mysteries of the joyful mysteries. And what was said, I really like how it reminded me of so the chaplet of Saint Joseph, um the seven sorrows and seven joys of Saint Joseph, right? Because you have the Franciscan crown rosary, which is like the seven joys of Mary, and then you have the seven sorrows of Mary, which was promoted at Our Lady of Kibeho, and Mary, I think it's like the first and only, as of now, the first and only Marian apparition that has happened in Africa, or in like I think there's Marian apparition that happened in Egypt. But anyway, so the Our Lady of Kibeho happened in Rwanda. Um, and it preceded the Marian apparition preceded the vision of it preceded the Rwandan genocide. The girls who saw Our Lady saw had a vision of the Rwandan genocide, um, and that led to and basically Our Lady was saying that you must pray the rosary to prevent this from happening, but the people didn't heed, and so that the Rwandan genocide occurred. Um, it's very sad, and um, yeah, and so to bring it back to the Seven Sorrows, you can look all this up, right? To get more details, and to fact check. But to refer back to the Seven Sorrows and Seven Joys of Saint Joseph, I during the prophecy of Simeon, the joy of Saint Joseph was that Jesus would be like this would be a sign of contradiction that would lead to the fall and the rise of many. So the joy of Saint Joseph was that Jesus would lead to the rise of many, that this would be he's the Messiah, then the Messiah is going to lead to the rise of many. It's like exciting. Um, but then his sorrow was that he knew that and a soul shall pierce your own soul too. And basically he would have known that it's like how was it put by Father Donald Hathaway? I think he explained that it like Saint Joseph would have been pained to know that Mary would have to go through that, and would have been pained to know that Jesus would be a sign of contradiction, like this, like his God, but also his son, his foster son, his son, right, would go through that. This boy who he loved so much because this boy was his son. You know what I'm saying? So this boy was also his God. You know what I'm saying? So the words can be a bit funny sometimes because like it's like it's so weird. God became man, right? And it's like there's a way you talk about things just when you're just talking about them, but it's like my like his boy, like and it's like one of my boys. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about your son. Isn't it interesting to say just will refer to Jesus like that? But also like his son was God too, is God too. Oh, it was pretty interesting because to people who didn't know that, it's like, and also there would have been such a closeness of hearts that it would have made sense, and there would have been all this love. It's just really cool when you think about it, but it's also really cool to think that like it's like I just think how humbling, how humbling, and how humble Saint Joseph had to have been to to be created to be the father of the Son of God. Yes, the foster father, yes, but he was the father, right? Okay, I don't think we don't always inject that foster father. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know he's a foster father, but just because someone isn't your biological son doesn't mean that you don't love them as if they're your own son, So keep injecting that foster father as if the relationship wasn't as strong as a blood father son relationship. So anyway, yeah. So I just thought about that, and yeah, and I think I'll take what Father McMurray said to bank to say this the prophecy of Simeon. that prayer when I do my night compline, because I like to do the shift hours, or that I'm called to that prayer. Um, so when I do it, I'll try and bear in mind that this is a time to just remember that God is with me in my strolls, and I can now leave leave to rest and leave everything in His care. Kind of say to my problems, leave me to rest. Go and bother God. I'm a cheeky one, but yeah. Leave me to rest now, problems. Jesus is with me. Be gone. Anyway.